Hey everybody, this is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show, talking about episode number 123, I Didn't Do Anything. Recorded on Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Tonight's topics: water levels, bills, and it's the same. Stick around, folks, we have a pretty good show tonight. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
No, I'm Ryan McAllister.
So, tonight it's just back to the two of us. No Paige making us chuckle and telling us that frozen pizza's good. Sorry, Paige. Frozen pizza's edible. But we'll leave it at that. But tonight may end up being a little bit of a quick show because, well, there's not a ton here. But also I may end up talking a little fast because we're supposed to get some more snow tonight. And, of course, Wednesdays I go into the office, which means I have to clear the driveway before I go in. So, could mean I have to get up a little bit early. Of course, you never know because they've been so horrible with forecasts this year that's not even funny. And that kind of leads us right into our first topic.
Ooh.
So, everybody talks about snow totals. You know, it's winter in central New York. And it's not just central New York. Honestly, it's across the country where snow totals are significantly lower than the historical average. And I say historical for a specific reason.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of talk, and I don't know, maybe I've mentioned it before, but, there's always talk about what the average temperature is and, what the average snowfall is and average rainfall, blah, blah, blah. The biggest key is it's only in written history, which is huge to take into account when you're talking about the United States. Why?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, a way to measure the temperature hasn't been around for a real long time. And we're just making assumptions, the human-centric world that we live in.
Yeah.
We're making assumptions that because we've measured, for example, in Syracuse, we've been measuring temperatures in Syracuse for just over 100 years. I think it was 1919 when they first started keeping track or something like that. But of course, the thing that they fail to mention with that is, I think it was in the 40s or the 50s, something like that. They actually moved where the official temperature reading was taken from downtown out to the airport. So how accurate is it to say, oh yes, the average temperature for Syracuse is... But let's go beyond that.
Yeah. So
we know for a fact that the Earth has been here for millions of years.
Billions, even.
I mean, well, I don't know that we know it goes back billions. We can make that assumption, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So, the reason I say this is because the Earth is extremely old. And you look at records. Like, let's not even talk records yet. Let's talk about humans. We have only been around for a few thousand years. I think the earliest they go back the earliest they have found is like 5,000 years. Or maybe it's 10. I don't know. But at any rate, it's really...
somewhere along that.
It's really not that long when you start considering how old the Earth is.
Right.
Now you take into account how long we have written records. Sure.
Which is even less time.
Well, yeah, it's even less time. And if you look at the Far Eastern cultures, they have written records going back much farther than anything in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's only a few thousand years. So now we're saying, oh, well, we know for a fact that the temperature of the Earth is going up. Well, we can make the assumption, and I know I've said this before, we can make the assumption that since the last ice age, the Earth's been warming.
Yeah, of course.
But that's an assumption.
Mm-hmm. You don't know that.
We don't know that. And, you know, they constantly talk about, oh, well, it's, you know, like December of 2023. The fourth warmest December on record. Yes, on record.
On record.
But records for Syracuse only go back, as I said, just about 100 years. So what was it like before that? We don't know because there's no written record. You know?
Yep.
So we're all focused on this. But, you know, that's not what this... It's a sidetrack. But, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand with this. So our average snowfall in Syracuse, we are short by like 40 inches at this point in time, which means we're 40 inches below the average snowfall in recorded history.
That's the average in recorded history.
Yes, it's the average in recorded history. That's all. But here's the thing. Nobody's talking about the amount of rainfall that we've gotten. Mm-hmm. You know, they showed... I tried doing some research on it, and unfortunately I didn't have a lot of time to do the research, but I believe that December we were over our average rainfall by like 7 or 8 inches. Which, for anybody who doesn't know, when they talk about an inch of rainfall, what they're talking about is how much water it would take to cover an acre of land with 1 inch of water.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking a lot of water.
Yeah.
So we're like 7 or 8 inches over our normal rainfall in December. Now, I said, well, you know, nobody's talking about this. What does that mean in terms of how much water we've gained? You know, because everybody's always talking about, you know, there's a water shortage and, you know, we're in drought conditions, blah, blah, blah. We're not in drought conditions. We were not in drought conditions before. But we got 7 inches more rainfall in December than usual. We are 40, and keep this in mind, we are 40 inches short on snowfall. So I said, well, how does that rainfall translate into snowfall? Meaning, how much water is actually in snow?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at a few sites just to make sure, and basically they were all saying the same thing. 1 inch of rain equals 10 inches of snow, which means we're 7 to 8 inches over our rainfall total.
All right.
Which means 70 to 80 inches of snow. That means we're technically in a surplus equivalent of 40 inches of snow. It's just in water form instead of snow. And everybody's all worried about it because, oh, we didn't get a white Christmas. Oh, I can't go skiing. Oh, I can't go snowmobiling. Well, you know what? How about looking at the other side of the coin? We got a ton of freaking water, people. There's floods all over the Northeast. And we're not talking minor floods. We're talking villages, cities, underwater.
Yep.
You know, and all these people are worried about is the fact that they can't go snowmobiling. And let me point out, for the most part, Syracuse does not have a white Christmas.
For the most part.
Yeah, people tend to think, oh, well, it's a white Christmas all the time in Syracuse, because that's what they want to remember. It's not actually white as often as it is green. Mm-hmm. So, get over it. But, we've got this huge surplus of water. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's something to really think about. Because, maybe it's warmer, but we've got a huge surplus of water.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about that because, it's wintertime and it's supposed to be snow and everything's supposed to be covered and look pretty and blah, blah, blah.
Yep, it's supposed to be snowy all the time, no matter what.
Yeah. It's give me a break, people. Yeah, I don't know.
Not everything can match up how you want it to be.
Yeah, if you want more snow and you want it more often, well, you need to move to one of the poles.
Start going north.
Yeah, I mean, go up to Canada, or do something different.
And not the part of Canada where it's actually populated, because they have just about as much snow as we do.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's places in Canada that do not get snow.
Mm-hmm.
However, you get up to the northern portions of Canada, and you get about a month of no snow. I mean, it's not. I don't know. If you're really, really, truly worried about snow, go there.
Yep.
Let's just look at.
And if you're fine with living in a dictatorship, go to Russia. Yeah. They got plenty of snow.
Yeah. Or you go to China. I mean, there's places you can go where there's snow all the time. But
there's a reason why only the Mongols have successfully invaded Russia, and that's because they didn't invade during winter time.
Yeah. But at any rate, I just find it really annoying that nobody's talking about this, and it's an important fact because, having too much water, it's going to make for a big mess. You're going to have, when you start looking at it, you get these places in the mountains, and you're going to end up having mudslides in areas, like New York State, where you don't normally have them. But there's been so much water that there's potential that this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, what do I know?
What do we know?
All right. So speaking of snow, what do you say we move on to our next topic?
What do we got?
So, there was a huge snowstorm anticipated over the weekend for the Buffalo area.
Yep.
Last year they got slammed really bad because normally you get to January time frame and Lake Erie is frozen over, which makes it so that you can't get the lake effect. Well, last year they got a really cold blast going over Lake Erie before it had a chance to freeze, and they got slammed. Yep. This year there was a really, really cold blast of air coming across the country, and Lake Erie's not frozen over.
Yeah.
So, the National Weather Service and, of course, local meteorologists to the Buffalo area knew that this was going to be a big storm.
Mm-hmm.
So, Governor Hochul actually worked with the NFL to postpone the Bills game.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because so many people started whining about it, some of which were from Pittsburgh, because Buffalo was playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And the problem is, none of them were actually taking a look at what was coming. None of them cared. All they were thinking about was, well, I want to go to the game. They can play football in the snow. That's not a big deal. And I saw some posts where they were pointing out, hey, this isn't about the game. This is about safety of people. You have to get to the game. How would you like it if your entire, if
not
the,
just the fans either.
Yeah. Well, that's what somebody said. They said, how much would you like it if your entire team was on a bus from the hotel to the stadium, and the bus got in an accident because it slipped, and all of your players were injured? That wouldn't be so good.
Nope.
But,
it wouldn't.
People weren't thinking about that. And as it turned out, it's really a good thing that they did postpone the game.
Mm-hmm.
They showed video. Now, this video was taken in the end zone at the time that the game would have been being played.
Okay. How bad?
So there's like a 2-foot border around the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
This camera was at the back edge of that.
Okay.
You could not see past the goalpost. So it was in the corner of the end zone. I don't remember how wide the field is, but it's not super wide. It's maybe 100 feet. I don't even think it's that much, but so it was in the corner. The goalposts are in the center. You couldn't see past the goalpost. Wow. Because there was so much snow coming down and so much wind. So then, the game was postponed for one day. So instead of playing on Sunday, they played on Monday.
Yeah.
And they played the afternoon, late afternoon. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, because the grounds crew knew that they were going to have to clear the field.
Oh, yeah. That must have been fun.
They were still clearing the field an hour before kickoff.
Whoa.
Yeah, they actually paid people to go in and shovel some of the stands. Mm-hmm. And basically, they said, you're not shoveling off the seats. You're just shoveling the walkways, the stairs, so that people can get up and down safely.
Yep.
Fans were told, plan on your seat being filled with snow.
Mm-hmm.
You looked at these bleachers.
Be prepared.
Yeah, you looked at these bleachers, and you could barely see the top of the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking the part you sit on. I'm talking the back of the seat.
Yeah.
You could barely see it. Because they got so much snow. And that was just in one day. Not even a full day. You're talking like 10 hours. Mm-hmm. And these people were, I don't know why you're canceling it. You people are soft. No. Of course, somebody else, they're building this huge stadium and they're not putting a roof over it. Well, the roof doesn't protect the fans on the way to the game. It doesn't protect the fans on the way home from the game. All it does is make it so that they're dry and warm during the game.
Yep.
But, so many people are just so focused on sports. I got to see my football. They don't think of the big picture.
No, they don't.
And that's what I don't get. I mean,
this is why I'm glad that the Super Bowl is mostly played in warm climates, so fans don't complain about it being canceled.
Well, or
postponed.
Yeah, it's played in warm climates because the warm climates have them. They can draw the people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's all it is. How many people really truly want to go someplace like Buffalo, freeze their ass off while they're sitting outside to watch the Super Bowl? Zero. Mm-hmm. Unless you're from Buffalo, zero. Yeah, I mean, all right, so it's not just Buffalo. It's any of the northern outdoor teams.
Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, even New York City.
Not so much Philly or Pittsburgh. They don't get a whole lot of snow. But you're talking like
New England.
New England. Both New York teams, the Bills, Green Bay, and Chicago.
Not Detroit though. Detroit's indoor.
Yeah, Detroit's a dome. But I mean, nobody wants to pay.
Also, unexpectedly, Minnesota is indoor.
Yeah. Well, Minnesota gets very, very cold.
Remember when their last stadium got the roof destroyed because of snow? That was interesting.
No, I don't remember that.
That was like over a decade ago.
Hmm.
But it was all over the news.
Nah, I don't remember. But, I don't know. I mean, nobody wants to pay upwards of $2,000 for a ticket to sit and freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know for sure. I know that tickets used to be around $1,000 for the Super Bowl. I'm positive it's a hell of a lot
slightly more reasonable.
Yeah, I'm sure you're talking more along the lines of $2,000 to $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, nobody wants to freeze their ass off after paying that much money.
Yeah.
And we're not talking, those prices, we're not talking luxury boxes.
Nope.
No, those prices
that's
are
regular old
out,
seats.
Yeah, it's not regular old seats. It's down, right down at the lowest level, but still, you're outside.
Yeah.
But, the other thing is a game on snow, while you get people who actually played football, they enjoy it. You think about John Madden, he loved watching that. In snow or mud, that was football to him. Where most people, no, they want to see, they want to see all the yardage markers and everything like that, which means artificial turf in a dome or someplace where there's no chance of snow.
Yeah.
No chance of mud. You don't see it. That's usually where you see it, is on artificial turf. You don't see it even on the natural field anymore.
Nope.
Because it's not.
Even though supposedly artificial turf has been linked to causing more injuries.
Oh, there's no supposed about that. It's known to cause more injuries.
I haven't heard much about that, so.
There's a thing called turf toe. It is all about artificial turf.
That's why in baseball, natural grass is actually used more often than artificial turf
nowadays. You might want to check on that.
I have. It's at least a majority.
Yeah.
Of stadiums in the majors.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. But, because the ball bounces more evenly on artificial turf and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, seriously, who the hell cares?
Mm-hmm.
It's a game. It's not supposed to be perfect. Conditions aren't supposed to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Is the unpredictability.
Yeah. So, what do you say we move on to our last topic here?
What is it?
All right. So, I don't think anybody can tell. Here, let me tip my head down a little bit. You see, huh? So I've given up on trying to claim that I have some hair. And what that meant was doing some research on a head shaver. And I mean, I didn't want to spend a ton of money, but I also wanted to get something that was good to see if I'm going to stick with this or if I'm going to go back to just saying, well, I've got some hair and I'm going to let it be what it is, just keep it short.
Yeah.
So I wanted a happy medium. And the problem that I kept running into over and over again is these articles that would say something like, so keep in mind, folks, we're in the middle of January of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd see these articles that would say the best head shaver for 2024. I'm like, okay, well.
Okay.
You can't really tell me that they're not going to come out with something throughout the year, but all right, I'll go with it. So I start looking at it and reading it, and I'm like, okay, the last article I read said that this is discontinued. When's this from? So I look up, oh, it was written in January of 2023. I'm like, what the hell? And then, of course, right next to it, it says updated.
Oh, God.
So all they're doing is they're saying, you know what? I don't feel like writing another article. Let me just change one word in here.
Update.
Yeah, I'll change one word someplace in the article, and then I'll change it to say that it's 2024, and then I'll just put update after the date. I ran into so many articles like that. I'm like, what the hell?
That's
you know,
funny.
and I'm also trying to find, you know, a version of Linux that I can use where I can possibly run my photo editing software in a virtual machine.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everything I'm looking at, the best one for 2024, written in January 2023. I actually saw one. I'm not joking. I saw one that was written in 2022, where the
Seriously?
headline of it said that it was 2024. I'm like,
Update.
yeah. You know, so
Yikes.
I mean, part of the problem I have, and I've said it over and over again, part of the problem I have with the movies is there's nothing original. Mm-hmm. You know, they keep doing remakes and doing remakes. And are we getting to the point where you can't do something original? You can't talk about an original device or original operating system?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. It's not like, you know, it's not like Mint Linux is the same in 2022 and 2024. There's been a couple of versions released since then. You know, I mean, Linux is constantly upgrading.
Yeah.
You know, more often than Windows does, more often than Mac OS does. You know, it's constantly updating. You're getting constant releases. And, you know, these articles are talking as if everything from 2022 still stands in 2024. It's 2 years ago, people.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, it's just getting to the point where how do you find a real review?
I don't know.
The only thing you can do is you know, where you find real reviews is usually from some Joe Schmo who's just trying them just to try them. You know? It gets so frustrating to deal with that. You know? I don't know. Sooner or later, you're going to run into it because you're going to try doing some research on something.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, you always joke that, you know, everybody has won best car of the year from Car and Driver or whatever.
It's JD Power.
Oh, yeah, JD Power. Everybody's won a JD Power. Well,
yeah, exactly. Everybody's won a JD Power. I have one. You have one.
yeah, you know, and it's like, that's the problem. You know,
It's like how we're both. It's like how everyone is Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 2006.
Yeah, you know, it's like, I don't know. I mean,
and that's actually not a joke. That they actually did give it to everybody that year. It literally just said "you"
hey
on the cover.
Then I can claim that I was Time Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's got nothing on me.
Actually, she does. Because of that, she has one. She's done it one more time than you have. She's got it twice.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, she didn't really do anything the second time, so that doesn't count.
I mean, she didn't do anything the first time either, so...
Well, yeah, but...
I didn't do anything the first time either.
Yeah, I know. But that doesn't matter, because I gave it to everybody.
I mean, yeah. Most people didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, folks. You heard that music starting up.
Good night.
We'll see ya.